What's up guys, it's Mark from Silence Tech. Now I finally got round to building the 280X build for my son, but he's been a bit of a naughty boy lately, so I'm probably going to wait a while before I give him his first gaming PC. Also, it seems he's lost interest in it already, and generally he just loves playing on the iPad. Such an Apple fanboy. First of all, let's talk about the 280X. Considering it's a micro ATX case, it was a blast to build in. Installing every component was easy. In fact, you could probably use a Swiss Army knife and some tweezers to get the job done. Just remember to put on your wireless anti-static bracelet before doing so. On a more serious note, the case actually surprised me. I was expecting excellent build quality, of course, considering it does cost a rather expensive $99.99 UK pounds or 110 US dollars, but the layout was very good. Building inside of it was extremely straightforward. There's also plenty of room in the back and tie down points for cable management, even though the power supply and drive cages do take up a lot of space. The 280X does have a slightly wider footprint compared to most mid-tower cases, but that's what makes building inside of it so easy. And it has to be one of the largest micro ATX cases ever at 20 plus litres. If you're a new PC builder, I can highly recommend the 280X, and don't let the fact that it's a mini ITX case put you off. This is one of Corsair's best cases they've released in recent years. That said, it is a little expensive and cooling won't be as good compared to a much larger mid-tower case. In my build, I've decided to add a load of RGB components all hooked up to a Corsair Commander Pro, 4 LL Series 120mm fans and a Lighting Node Pro. The RGB effects are endless. They really set this case off, although they don't come cheap. Ideally you want to spend all of your hard-earned money on performance, but they just look so damn good. The CPU cooler that I decided to use was a H100i Pro, and this was the first time I've attached a Corsair all-in-one to a Ryzen CPU / motherboard, and I actually found the installation method a lot more straightforward than Intel's, although it would have been nice if Corsair had have separated the Intel and AMD screws from the packaging. The H100i Pro's radiator is 240mm in size, paired with two 120mm LL Series fans, and they do a great job at dispersing heat away from the 1800X Ryzen CPU. So far I've got some more tweaking to do. I've managed to get the chip overclocked to a respectable 3.9 GHz. For storage, this PC has a 480GB MP300 M.2, and I'm going to add a standard hard drive a little later on down the road. The M.2 managed improved read and write speeds over a standard 2.5-inch SSD for around the same price, and it's great to see that M.2 drives are finally getting a little bit cheaper. The RAM or DDR4 in this build is of course Vengeance LED RAM from Corsair. There's plenty of clearance between the Vengeance DDR4 and the top fans, even with a radiator installed. The power supply is a white RM750X, which is a little overkill for this build, but it will mean the PSU won't ever get overworked, plus it will be super quiet. Lastly, rounding off this build has an MSI RTX 2080, and I'll have a review and benchmarks coming up real soon, so I won't go into too much detail now. I love the backplate and the RGB effects. Also, MSI have just released a new edition of their Mystic Light software, which is a great improvement over the previous editions. Regarding quickly the 2080's performance, it seems on par with a 1080 Ti, so it's going to be hard to recommend until Nvidia release their RTX features. Anyway peeps, that's the ITX build wrapped up, and overall the parts came together really well, and I managed to install the PSU the right way round, and it didn't even short out even though it was touching the side of the case. All jokes aside and crazy memes, I hope you've enjoyed today's build showcase. My name's Mark from Silence Tech. It's really early in the morning and I need to get to bed. Goodbye.